Yep. Nuno, rest in peace. He was a bad manager. Seemed like a nice guy. In over his head. Never had a chance at this team. Antonio Conte is our manager. About 4 months too late after Conte initially turned us down because Daniel Levy sucks. But somehow Fabio Paratici has convinced him to join. I don't know. I don't entirely know how to feel. Conte is a serial winner wherever he goes. This is not some Jose Mourinho washed up, post-serial winner type Jose. This is an Antonio Conte that just won Serie A with Inter Milan in a league that Juventus normally dominates. And the stats and the trophies speak for themselves. Conte's the real deal. But the problem is Tottenham is not the real deal. I don't know what is going to happen here. We were atrocious under Nuno. There's just no way to get around it. We're currently sitting 9th in the table. We're only about 5 points out of the Champions League spots, out of the top 4. So it's certainly savable. But the XG is really what explains it all. XG is a bit of a flawed stat. It's certainly not perfect. But if you look at our XG here, we're third from the bottom. That's atrocious. That's atrocious. You look at the goals that we've scored, we're tied for second worst in the league. Only 9 goals scored. It's just, it wasn't working. It was never going to work. Harry Kane has 1 goal through 10 games. Sonny's our leading scorer with 4. It's just not enough. We have been bad. We have been very bad, and there's just no other way to put it. Everything offensively, we are at the bottom, and it just wasn't working. Nuno's known for his solid defensive play, and even that wasn't really working, considering the last couple games have gone horribly. So what's the draw for Conte? Well, he certainly likes a challenge. Him staying at Inter in his final season that he did because he saw an opening at Juventus and decided to stay one more year in Inter and try to win the league, and that's exactly what he did. Conte, despite being kind of that stereotypical Italian defensive style with his back three and wing backs, he can kind of, do it all in terms of a managerial tactician, direct build-up. A couple examples here from his Inter Milan days. Watching Bastoni just play a long ball through Lukaku and put him on net. They can do quick passing in transition. His teams can create their own space and control possession, and then also they can put in a counter press when necessary. And these are these 4 things. These are the things we saw under Pochettino during the good old days. Not late Pochettino when it wasn't good. But these are things that Poch was able to instill in us, especially the pressing. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what Conte's style is going forward on this. I'm not entirely sure whether or not it's going to work just because of the players that we have. They're just not very good. The rumor is that Conte is going to get $150 million to work with here. I don't know if that's going to save this team or not. Keeping Harry Kane is something that is, it's going to help us, you would think, if Kane, decides to step up and say, hey, Conte is a manager that I really want to work with, and we'll see if he does or not, because in terms of, the effort that he's put in this season, I think it's unacceptable. I think everyone else would say it's unacceptable, and I think he would probably agree. But the problem is he just doesn't want to be here. He just did not want to be here. And yeah, as I'm just kind of randomly scrolling through these stats, I have no plans, no planned script for this really. Shot creating actions were dead second last, tied with Aston Villa, and only Norwich, who are just putrid, rank below us. This is horrible for a team that, just a few years ago had Christian Eriksen, just a few years ago had the best defense in the Premier League. It's just unacceptable. No Eriksen replacement, no Dembele replacement, and it really just, it almost doesn't matter who the manager is. I know I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The manager can only affect so much. These players just aren't good enough. The dead weight isn't good enough. Dele Alli and Harry Winks and Ben Davies, the time has come for them to move on. There's just no way around it. The fact that we didn't sell them over the summer is just really, really bad. They had their chance. It just didn't work, and it's not going to work. Defensively, it hasn't been horrible in terms of, this playing against the smaller teams when we're not losing 3 or 4-0 to Manchester United or Arsenal. Yeah, it's just a lot of sideways passing. We've seen it, and it really just hasn't gone our way. We're pretty mid-table to bottom tier in every single offensive category. It just is. In terms of our aerial duels, yeah, we're not even winning half of those, which is pretty pathetic if you want to be a top tier side in the Premier League. It just hasn't worked out. It wasn't going to work out. Nuno was never the guy for the job, and it was pretty clear that I think everyone kind of knew that, maybe except Nuno, or even maybe he did know that because you sign a 2-year contract. I had theorized before that 2-year contract was just to be a placeholder until Poch's PSG contract expired. Conte is signed until 2023 with an option to extend, so it seems like maybe Levy has settled on Conte as the long-term solution, and it certainly won't be easy for him, that's for sure, but he's going to give it his best go, hopefully, and as long as he's backed properly in the transfer windows and gets the players in that he wants, there's no reason that Conte can't kind of restore some of the excitement around the club, because right now you go on Twitter, which Twitter's not really real, but still there's a lot of disconnect right now between the fans and the club and the players. It just doesn't seem like anyone really cares anymore. There's just such a disconnect. Whenever we lose, it's just like, well, yeah, whatever. We were going to lose. I don't actually care that much. But this Manchester United game really awoke something, I guess. The booing was heard when Nuno inexplicably subbed off Lucas Moura. It turns out it could have been the turning point for this club to maybe get rejuvenated and get back into top 4 competition. But we'll see. And who knows? If Conte wins the Conference League, maybe that's a trophy that we can't say no to. I certainly wouldn't. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. And am I back streaming on Twitch? Not really. Maybe occasionally. I don't know. But follow me on Twitter, subscribe. I'm going to start making more videos about IRL football, like this stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.